Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the SgGeoFest 2021. Thank you for joining this webinar. So today we have Eric Fu from the Maritime Ports Authority who will be speaking about the topic on towards a sustainable sea with GeoSpace Sea. Without further ado, let me hand over the mic over to Eric. Eric, please go ahead.
Okay, thanks very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eric from GeoSpace Hydrographic Divisions of MPA. Thanks to SgGeoFest for extending the invitations to MPA. It's a great pleasure to be here to share with you about GeoSpace, the National Marine Spatial Data Infrastructure. Now, we all know that Singapore is a very small country, okay, but we have one of the world busiest port here in Singapore. So as you can see from the screen itself, there are many activities that are happening every day in our port waters, okay, ranging from shipping and navigation to recreation to agriculture. So there is a need for a coordinated approach towards the planning, managing, and monitoring of these activities, which involve multi-stakeholders to ensure that we have a sustainable development, management, and utilization of our limited sea and coastal space. But before we can even achieve that, a lot of time we spend on searching for the right data, collecting the data if it's not available, or converting the data and information as they are often not readily available, accessible, and interoperable. The data collation is also very time consuming, especially when there is no proper data categorizations in terms of usage, whether it can be used for aquaculture or ecological. And there is also lack of common data standard as the data are collected and stored by different users, different parties using different equipments and technologies. Furthermore, we don't know what we don't know. Okay, sometimes after spending time and resources to collect or to collate the data and information, we realize that actually someone has already done it previously, which we could just request and reuse it. So to achieve the efficient planning and managing and monitoring of our limited sea and coastal space, we need the data and information to be interoperable so that anyone who requested for the data could quickly pick up the data, okay, without having to spend time converting the data. We also need the data and information to be geo-referenced, okay, so that we could quickly overlay the data and information for both location and situation awareness. Last but not least, we need to have a holistic view and management of our land and sea data. So the big question back then was where and how to discover our marine and coastal data and to have them interoperable so that government agencies, institutions for higher learnings, research institutes, industries, and the public could use to address the blue economy for disaster response, for marine R&D on climate change, and or for the marine environmental and biodiversity conservation. Of course, the answer is GeoSpace, the National Marine Spatial Data Infrastructure, in short MSDI, which is a single integrated data platform that provides access to historical and current authoritative marine and coastal spatial data and informations. Okay, MPA has spearheaded with this great initiative with the strong support and involvement from the 11 participating agencies as shown on the screen. So earlier I mentioned that GeoSpace is a marine spatial data infrastructure, or MSDI in short. So what is MSDI? Basically, MSDI is the marine component of a SDI, spatial data infrastructure, which consists of four elements, which GeoSpace has adopted. Under the policy and governance, we have policy in place for GeoSpace in terms of the technology, in terms of the standards, and its contents. For technical standards, we conduct periodical audit on the current standard that are in use in GeoSpace, and we also ensure that we are adopting the best practices and open standards. As for data and the metadata, we also conduct periodical evaluation on the completeness and the consistency of the data and metadata. And we also check for any possible or any likely duplication among the stakeholders. Lastly, for technology, GeoSpace adopted a scalable solution and architecture to support our user needs and our future development plans for GeoSpace. I will not spend too much time on MSDI itself. If you are interested, you can always Google about it, and or you can contact us for more information. Now, let us take a quick look at GeoSpace. What you are seeing on the screen right now is the homepage of GeoSpace, which is a web-based intranet system that that give our user the capability to search for the data, to visualize the data, and to upload or download the data. On the homepage itself, the authorized users could sign in to the portal to explore the data. Users can also explore the data via the categories that we have for GeoSpace, where the data has been categorized in terms of its usage. There is also 4 applications that you can find in GeoSpace, namely the data catalog, the 2D marine viewer, the 3D marine viewer, and the data dashboard. Firstly, for the data catalog itself, the user could use the catalog to search and discover Singapore marine and coastal data using a keyword search. They can use the free text search. They can actually filter by organization and filter by date and time. Okay, the user could also upload or update or download the data from the catalog itself. From the catalog, we also give web services of our data, and we adopt open standards. So all our services are serving out in WMS, WFS, and WCS. Okay, the user could also preview the data before they add it to the 2D marine viewer. For the 2D marine viewer, it allows the user to overlay multiple Singapore marine and coastal data and to perform spatial analysis, which will highlight and to assess the spatial pattern and the trends. Okay, user could also query the data of interest and then to understand the data better. If the user would like to print the map for offline purpose, they could also print it with the function that is available in the 2D marine viewer. Now, for the 3D marine viewer, it allows our users, okay, our registered users, to explore the 3D hydrographic data over the web. The user could actually visualize the depth of the area that they are interested in or they're going to work at, and using the depth profile tool, they could also overlay the 2D marine and coastal data on the 3D marine viewer. Similarly, they could also perform query on the data itself that is available on the 2D marine viewer. Lastly, for the data dashboard can be configured very easily to suit different situation and operation. It helps to provide a quick situation awareness and snapshot of the key parameters which are useful for decision makers. Okay, the key parameters will dynamically change as we navigate through the map itself. Now, okay. GeoSpace Phase 1 was launched 30th November last year by our Senior Minister for Foreign Affairs and Transport, Mr. Chi Hongdak, on the first day of MPA Singapore International Safety at Sea webinar series. With the first phase completed, the participating government agency will now be able to access the portal to acquire authoritative marine and coastal geospatial data from a single location. Although GeoSpace is live and operation now, okay, our work for GeoSpace did not just stop here. Okay, on one hand, we are planning for the enhancement of GeoSpace for the in phase one. Concurrently, we are already working on the next phases of GeoSpace. We took a phased approach towards the development and implementation of GeoSpace because we want to stay agile and can easily adapt and readapt ourselves to the evolving requirements and changes. So in the next phase of GeoSpace, we'll open access to more user group, such as the institutes for higher learnings, relevant research or educational entities, and identified public user groups. We also enhance the data repository by having more data, such as real-time data, such as satellite data. And lastly, we will enable and support our end user applications, such as giving access to the web services, APIs, or analytical tools from the portal itself. Okay. GeoSpace is aligned to Singapore Geospatial Master Plan, which is a blueprint to maximize the impact of geospatial information and technology, okay, into the three main pillars. For the first pillar, the Geospark government, which primary Geospatial Phase 1 is focusing at, is to have an effective and trusted public service driven by geo-enabled processes in policy making, planning, and operations. Next, to have a thriving industry, which is to have an environment that broaden and deepen the use of spatial technology and data to improve the productivity and to encourage innovation. Lastly, is to have our people geo-empowered, which means is to have a geospatially savvy population and competence workforce for increased productivity and better life. Okay, GeoSpace is working at a different level to ensure that we stay updated and relevant. At the national level, we have GeoSpace, which we are collaborating and we are continue to collaborate with our participating agency for the national interest. And we are also continue to commit to the Singapore Geospatial Master Plan. At the regional level, we are plugged into the East Asia Hydrographic Commission Marine Spatial Data Infrastructure Working Group, in short, EAHC MSDI Working Group. And at the international level, we are plugged into the International Hydrographic Organization, IHO MSDI Working Group. We also plug into the United Nations Global Geospatial Information Management, UNGGIM Working Group on marine geospatial information and the committee of experts. And just recently, we are also plugged into the Open Geospatial Consortium (OGC) Marine Domain Working Group. As for the regional and global objective, GeoSpace is equally committed to contribute to the regional and global agendas such as the United Nations Decades of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development and UN 2030 Agenda and its Sustainable Developments and Goals. By being an authoritative source for the marine and coastal digital data, enabling solutions to achieve these sustainable development goals, and lastly, to contribute to the regional and global data ecosystems. Before I end off, allow me to show you a short video of Joe Spacey.
The sea is a planet that has not been fully explored.
Now it's a question of seeing beyond just the land and looking at the sea.
We have to decide how best to use our resources.
Singapore is a system of systems. It's neither just a sea nor land, but an integrated whole.
Before you can do any planning or figuring out what is it you're going to do for the future, is to kind of have an inventory. We brought the agencies together, we brought experts. So this idea of a maritime spatial atlas for Singapore is a tremendous asset.
GeoSpace Sea is the source for integrated knowledge-based planning and development of Singapore and the instrument for the modeling of Singapore for various applications.
You have a database that can be reused by many organizations and stakeholders. There are also users that we may not know today.
The data by itself is just data. So it's not just data analytics, but understanding what the data means.
It has to be a collaborative effort. Alone you can go fast, but together we go far.
We should aim to make Singapore a city in nature. In fact, you want to do it in such a way that you enhance the marine biodiversity.
It's not only at national level. We are working at regional level, we are working at international level.
The potential is really quite unlimited what you can do.
You make better decisions because you are better informed. So you try and move from information to knowledge to wisdom.
So it always inspires me whenever I watch this video, and I hope you too. Okay, as GeoSpace is moving to our next phase, not only that we want to maintain our current partnership and collaboration, we want to foster the new ones also. We also looking for new partnership and new collaborations, and we also want to enhance GeoSpace by providing more data, more feature, more tools, and more services to our users. So whether you are from the educational group, the research group, the industry, or marine related interest group, if you have an interesting research topics, use cases, or ideas on how GeoSpace can benefit your business operation, please contact us at geospacey@mpa.gov.sg. We want to hear from you and we will want to work with you. And if you are a technology provider, you are equally welcome to contact us to share with us on the latest technology and how it could help to enhance the capability of GeoSpaces. With that, I thank you for your time and attention. Stay safe and be safe. Thanks.